It's another big week for Nintendo Switch deals, and this new eShop sale, I love it. There are some just real bangers in here, from indie to AAA, so definitely stick around. Now, as always, I'm going to be covering the US, Canada, UK, EU, and Australia, and I've also got two winners to announce later in this video for a $10 eShop gift card each. I'm also going to be doing the same thing this week, two more $10 eShop gift cards to give away. If you want to enter, just drop a comment down below, and the winners are announced every single Saturday. Alright, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe, helps out the channel a huge amount, and now, let's get into it. Dave the Diver is 35% off a new low price, and this one's an absolute gem. It was released back in 2023, and honestly, I still find myself coming back to it even now. It's one of those games where the more you play, the more it just opens up, and the gameplay loop is ridiculously addictive. Now, by day, you're going to be diving into the mysterious blue hole, spearfishing, collecting resources, and occasionally even battling some deep-sea horrors. But at night then, you're flipping that catch into high-end sushi in your own restaurant. It's the perfect blend of adventure, RPG, and management sim, but of course, with a dash of chaos. The ocean sections then are super chill with a little roguelike risk built in, meaning if you run out of oxygen or push your luck too far, you're leaving loot behind. But that only makes each run here more tense and satisfying. Then there's the restaurant side, upgrading gear, hiring staff, making weird high-end dishes, all while a cast of eccentric, meme-worthy characters keep the tone light and entertaining. Visually then it's gorgeous, combining pixel art with slick 3D elements that really kind of bring this world to life, and since launch it's seen some great post-release support with new DLC and minigames that keep things fresh. Red Dead Redemption is 40% off a new low price, and honestly, it's one of the best ports we've seen on the Switch. It runs really well. It looks great on OLED or actually any system, and the fact we've got it on a handheld at all still feels unreal. This is a genre-defining Western that holds up beautifully, and if you've never played it, or even if you just want a reason to revisit it, this discount makes it a great time to jump in. I covered it fully on the channel, check that video out down below. But this version, it includes both the full base game and the incredible Undead Nightmare DLC. And the main campaign, you play as John Marston, a former outlaw trying to leave his violent past behind. But the government, they have other plans. You'll travel through dusty frontier towns, sweeping deserts, and across the border into Mexico, all while hunting down members of your old gang. The storytelling here, fantastic. The world feels alive, and the gunplay still hits hard. Then there's Undead Nightmare, which flips the world into a zombie apocalypse. It's a standalone campaign, not just a mode, and it adds a completely different tone, dark, weird, and over the top in the best way. You're still John Marston, but now you're battling the undead. You're using holy water and torch-wielding horses as you try to save your family again. And yeah, it's basically the end of days. This release then finally includes extra content from the Game of the Year edition. The one thing I will say, no multiplayer here. The single player offerings, they are more than enough. So yeah, here's hoping Rockstar actually brings the sequel to Switch 2 next. Ninja Gaiden Master Collection is 50% off a new low price, and this is a brilliant pickup if you're into fast, brutally challenging action games. This series is iconic for a reason. It's flashy, fluid, and punishing in all the right ways. But let's be clear, Ninja Gaiden doesn't hold your hand. These games are tough, and if you're not into high difficulty combat, this one might not be for you. That said, I've been a long time fan of the series, and I'd love to see the upcoming new entry and even the recent Ninja Gaiden remake make their way to Switch 2. Now this collection then includes the Trilogy, all remastered and bundled into one brutal package, and that's the 3D Trilogy, I should make that clear. But you'll be playing as Ryu, the legendary Super Ninja, but you'll also get to jump into battles as different characters throughout the journey. It really kind of depends on the game you are facing. You can even then tag in and out of characters mid-battle for some additional tactical flexibility. All previously released DLCs included too, extra modes, bonus costumes, additional characters, all that good stuff. So yeah, whether you're slicing through demons in Tokyo or dueling deadly bosses in ancient temples, the action here, relentless. The combos, satisfying, and the challenge, real. Performance on Switch then finally, overall, really bloody good. Fez is 66% off a new low price for those in the UK, EU, and Australia. In the US and Canada, I've seen it slightly cheaper in the past, but look, if you've never played this, it's a puzzle platformer you absolutely can't miss. It is a true classic of the indie scene, and while it might look like a traditional 2D pixel art game on the surface, it quickly flips that expectation on its head, literally. Now you're playing as Gomez, a creature who believes he lives in a 2D world. That is until a mysterious event unlocks a third dimension, revealing a mind-bending world that shifts and rotates. The core mechanic lets you rotate the environment between 4 2D perspectives, turning each area into a visual puzzle. So what was once a gap becomes a bridge. A hidden door suddenly comes into view. It's clever, it's challenging, it's incredibly satisfying when things start to click. And it's not just the puzzle design that makes Fez special. The game is dripping with charm, from its atmospheric soundtrack to the cryptic language and hidden secrets tucked throughout the locations. If you enjoy exploration, brain teasers, and pixel-perfect design, there's still, in my opinion, nothing quite like it. Cassette Beasts is 40% off and matching the low price, and this one really deserves more attention than it gets. If you're into monster catching games, this is absolutely worth the time. Yes, it draws immediate comparisons to Pokemon, but it also brings enough fresh ideas to carve out a space of its own. The big one, fusions. Any 2 monster forms you collect can be combined in real time to create entirely new, fully animated creatures. That alone adds a ton of depth and experimentation to the battle system. Now here you're going to be exploring New Wirral, a strange isolated island where people record monsters onto cassette tapes and transform them into battle. It is a cool retro concept that gives the whole game a unique vibe, sort of a blend of nostalgia and modern RPG design. You'll glide, swim, climb, and solve puzzles across a surprisingly rich open world with monster abilities tied into exploration. The turn-based combat system then is also more strategic than you might expect, or at least, in comparison to Pokemon. There's elemental chemistry, debuffs, and synergy mechanics that reward you for practicing the systems. Plus, your relationship with companions affects how well you fuse in combat, giving team building a personal touch. You can even play with friends in a local co-op or online, so whether you're trading tapes or maybe just tackling tough bosses together. Blasphemous is 80% off and new low price, and for anyone even remotely into Metroidvanias, this is an absolute must-play. It is brutal, stylish, completely drenched in atmosphere. This world, it's grotesque, gothic, and totally unforgettable. And the game doesn't shy away from its religious horror inspirations, which I really appreciate. Think though Dark Souls meets Castlevania with a heavy dose of Spanish Catholic iconography, and then it's all handcrafted pixel art, and it is just as gorgeous as it is disturbing. Now you'll be playing as the Penitent One, the lone survivor of a grim massacre, locked in a cycle of death and resurrection. Your job? Break the curse known only as Miracle. That means slicing your way through twisted enemies, unraveling cryptic history, and piecing together a world that refuses to give you easy answers. The combat then, tight and punishing, but fair. It's built around your sword, the Mea Culpa, which can be upgraded with new moves and devastating executions that are, again, as gruesome as they are satisfying. There's also a great build variety here thanks to relics, rosary beads, sword hearts, and prayers that function like spells, letting you customize your loadout to match that style. Boss fights finally, massive, incredibly memorable, each one very demanding kind of pattern recognition. So yeah, come here with quick reflexes and a little patience. Blasphemous 2 then, Deluxe Edition, is 40% off and new low price, and if you finished that first game or were waiting for a complete edition of sorts, this is the one to grab. It includes the base game and the Mea Culpa expansion, which adds new story content, areas, and a quest to reforge your iconic blade. It's a hefty, expanded package that builds on the brutal Metroidvania formula the original established so well. Now this time around, the Penitent One awakens in a new land, pulled from his final resting place to once again battle, and that is against the Miracle. The game picks up where the Wounds of Eventide DLC for the first game left off, pushing deeper into the twisted religious mythology that defines the world. Expect though more of what made the original great: tight, punishing combat, beautifully grotesque boss fights, and a labyrinth world filled with secrets. Also, the platforming in the sequel, much better. Where Blasphemous 2 though really steps things up is in its weapon variety and progression. You now have multiple weapons, each with its own moveset, traversal mechanics, and skill tree. So whether it's a flail that breaks shields or a massive kind of sensor for slow, powerful strikes, you're gonna find it here. Customization then is deeper and the world feels more open and interconnected. Finally, the Mea Culpa expansion adds a solid chunk of new content, including additional areas, narrative threads, and powerful enemies to conquer. My only personal gripe with this one, the cutscenes in the sequel, they shift from the stunning pixel art animation of the first game to a more anime style of presentation, which look incredibly well made, not denying that, but they just feel a little out of sync with the game's tone. Final Vendetta is 60% off, matching the low price, and if you're into old school brawlers, this one's definitely worth considering. It's heavily inspired by arcade classics, so expect brutal difficulty, limited continues, and yeah, no autosave. If you lose all your lives here, it's going to be back to that start. That might frustrate some players, but for others, it's part of the charm. The setup is classic beat 'em up fare as well. Claire Sparks' sister has been kidnapped by a gang called Syndicate, and Claire, alongside her two housemates, Duke, a street brawler, and Miller, a disgraced Canadian pro wrestler, are ready to smash their way through the streets of London to get her back. It is stylish, it's fast-paced, it's packed with attitude. The combat here feels weighty and responsive, with each character offering a unique moveset and flow. And yeah, you've got running attacks, juggles, blocks, even the ability to stomp down enemies. But be warned, there are definitely some old-school design quirks, like cheap deaths from objects falling off-screen. Now, once you know what's coming, it becomes much more forgiving, I guess. It's more about learning the patterns and adapting. Definitely didn't particularly like it personally, but overall, I do think the game is still a winner. Visually as well, the pixel art here is top tier. Really good stuff. Freedom Finger is 75% off and matching the low price, and if you're after something completely off the rails, this is the one. Side-scrolling shoot 'em up where you fly a spaceship shaped like a giant middle finger. Yep, it's exactly as immature as it sounds, but it's kind of the point. It's ridiculous, over the top, and it fully leans into its absurdity. But behind the chaos is actually a really solid game. The core is classic shmup gameplay, but it mixes things up with melee combat and a grab mechanic that lets you snatch enemies out of the air and use their weapons against the rest of the horde. It adds a nice layer of strategy, especially during the tougher levels. The campaign then spans 40 stages across 13 worlds, and while the gameplay stays tight and satisfying, the real surprise here for me was the voice cast and the writing. It's got a strong lineup, genuinely funny moments, and some fantastic music to back it all up. Like, if you're not afraid of something a little crass and want a shooter that doesn't take itself seriously, this one, worth a look. Samurai Warriors 5 is a great pick if you're in the mood for some stylish button-mashing carnage. Yes, it's repetitive, this is a Warriors game after all, but when the formula clicks, there's nothing quite like cutting through thousands of enemies in one sweeping combo. What really impressed me here, though, is the Switch version. Visually, really well done, and performance is solid, which isn't always a given in this genre. This entry kicks off with a new take on the series, reimagining the events of the first Samurai Warriors game with a more focused storyline that really zooms in on specific characters' lives. But then, with the reboot, the big thing for me is the visuals. They're beautiful, kind of bold brushstroke art style and redesigned characters. It gives the whole experience this incredible upgrade and fresh coat of paint. There are then 27 playable warriors this time to mix of series favorites and newcomers, and the combat then finally is still the star. It's flashy, fast-paced, packed with new abilities that really push the send everyone flying fantasy to the next level. If you're after an action game that lets you go full power fantasy without too much thinking, this one, great choice. 50% off then here, matches the low price. Shotgun King, the final Checkmate, 30% off right now, matching the low price, and this one absolutely deserved more attention. If you're into clever puzzle games, especially the kind that get weird with their concept, this will be right up your alley. I'd actually group it in the same camp as Baltoro's stuff, you know, just incredibly inventive and surprisingly deep once you get going. It's also bloody cheap right now. The concept, though, is simple. It's chess, but your entire army has betrayed you, leaving you alone as the Black King with a shotgun. That's it. You move a king, like a king as well. You shoot like a rogue and slowly reload as the white pieces bear down on you. You don't need to be a chess expert going in either. The game eases you into its mechanics and introduces upgrades that twist the rules in fun ways. After each level then, you pick an upgrade, but so does the enemy side. It turns into a roguelike arms race of mobility boosts, shotgun mods, and increasingly devious white pieces abilities. There are then multiple modes, a bunch of difficulty levels, and loads of unlocks. So yeah, really good fun this one, tons of strategic depth. Our winners of the week then for the two $10 eShop gift cards are on the screen right now. Congrats both, email me for the codes, and everyone else, drop a comment down below for your chance in next week's video. The final set of games for today then, the Atelier Ryza Trilogy. Now I won't go into deep detail on each one of these individually. At this point, these are modern classics in the JRPG space, but they're cozy, charming, character-driven RPGs that I've always enjoyed. And the best part, they all run and look surprisingly great on the Switch. If you are new to the series, of course start with the first. That's Atelier, Ryza, Ever Darkness, and the Secret Hideout. It's 75% off, a new low price. This is where Ryza's journey begins, with a focus on alchemy, exploration, and a group of friends slowly growing into heroes. The second game, Atelier Ryza 2 Lost Legends and the Secret Fairy, is 67% off, also a new low, continues Ryza's journey with refined mechanics, a more emotional story, and a deeper alchemy system. Finally then, Atelier Ryza 3 Alchemist at the End and the Secret Key. This is 50% off, matching its previous low. This one expands the world massively. It adds more freedom to exploration, and it delivers a satisfying close to Ryza's trilogy. All three are well worth your time if you like relaxed but rewarding RPGs with great character writing and a unique crafting hook. And that is the video down. What will you be picking up this week? And let me know in the comments. With that, if you enjoyed this, do me a favor and subscribe. It helps out the channel a huge amount. We're going to have a ton of content coming up very soon for the Switch 2. The launch now is right around the corner. And yeah, I'll see you all on the next video. Cheers all.